Jamie, do you want to just go along with it? Yeah, that's good. Hang on, mate.
You ready?
Yep.
Good morning, everybody. Apologies, this is a very quick briefing. I have not had a lot of time to absorb all this information, but this morning the Buller Civil Defence Controller has ordered a partial evacuation of Westport that are at direct threat of flooding later tonight or in the early hours of Saturday morning. This decision is based on the best available information about the risk from the high rainfall, high tides, combined with the experience from previous floods. The decision is being made to safeguard people's lives. Every household in the area under the evacuation order will need to leave as soon as possible. They should take a grab bag with clothes, essential medicines and personal documents. People with pets should take those as well and be prepared to be away from home for up to 3 days. We advise people to go to friends and relatives on high ground if at all possible. There is a very basic evacuation facility at the Wholesome site at Cape Felwind, which will provide shelter and food for those who have no other option. Everyone going to the Wholesome site should take sleeping bags or bedding and food for 3 days and be prepared to sleep in their vehicles. We will be issuing emergency mobile alert anytime now to notify people which areas are covered by the compulsory evacuation order, which I will list for you shortly. Police, fire and emergency, land search and rescue and volunteers will be going door to door, and we are asking media to help share this information, so thank you. If people need help to evacuate, they can call the Emergency Operations Centre here on 0800 234 533. That's 0800 234 533 if they need help to evacuate. Right, the areas covered by the compulsory evacuation order are similar to the July and other flooding events: all of Snodgrass Road, Coates Street, Derby Street and the area between Cobden Street and the beach, Roebuck Street, Menzies Street, Mars Beach area and the Martins Creek area. Now, this information will be reviewed constantly today, and it is not ruled out that the evacuation areas may be extended. We anticipate a further review of the weather and forecasting at 3 p.m, so that will be a potential decision time if there's any extension required. If anyone outside of those areas feels unsafe at home, then I urge them to self-evacuate as well. So that's probably the official bit. Any questions?
How many people are in those areas? Do you know numbers at this stage?
No, it's very difficult to tell because we don't know how many have self-evacuated. So the draft evacuation plan, or the evacuation plan, it was drafted yesterday. Today it's approved. Is being executed by fire and emergency, police, and the Landsar, as I described. So real numbers will be determined as they go door knocking. But hopefully, a number of people have taken the opportunity to leave under their own accord.
What about the number of properties? Is there a sort of more solid number of how many properties fall under this order?
I don't have that information yet.
How are people going to get there? Do they have to go themselves, or will there be transport provided?
The preference is they go themselves. Those who can't can call the 0800 number at this stage, but it will be door to door. So I imagine those people will self-identify pretty quickly, and the services will be able to respond accordingly.
Is there a time people have to be out by?
The evacuation order is in force now.
Yeah. But is there a time where you ideally want everyone out that has been ordered out at the moment?
As soon as possible.
The river levels seem to be falling and the rainfall prediction has come down. So why are you still evacuating?
The technical advice is that we still, the forecast and river flow peak levels on the advice of the experts is that there is still significant potential for a flooding event later tonight or in the early hours of Saturday morning.
Do you have a sort of time for that, Jamie? Is that going to coincide with the high tide at...
Yeah. Yep. So the high tide, from memory, is around 2 a.m. Saturday morning, and that at this stage, according to the modelling, will coincide with predicted peak river flows.
You didn't mention in the areas, I don't think, Kawatere Place. Is that not included?
It is included, yes.
It is included.
Yes.
Do you think is it more or less than last time in July, the evacuation order, or is it similar or the same, exactly the same?
It's based on the similar areas that were established as the initial evacuation order in July.
Is the event similar or lesser? Because the levels have certainly come down in the rivers and the rainfall prediction has come down. So is the event likely to be lesser or the same or more?
I don't want to speculate on that at the moment. They'll be reviewed at 3 o'clock. So at the moment the evacuations are as we've stated, and but we warn the rest of town that that it can't be ruled out that there'll be an extension to those areas.
What else are you hoping to learn at 3 o'clock?
It'll just be an update further advanced as the weather and the modelling moves through. So it'll be based on the technical advice from the Met and river teams.
Jamie, how traumatising is this for locals that went through this exact same thing 6 months ago?
Oh, it'll be extremely traumatising. Yep, and so there's certainly a huge focus on welfare, psychosocial support, and that as well. So that's a key part of the evacuation plan. So there's there'll be staff and facilities available to help with that.
And quite a lot of these properties in these low-lying areas are already red or yellow stickered. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
So there's a number of properties will be still vacant from the July flood. A number of properties have literally just been moved back into. Obviously, there's some every week. So again, that's probably an exacerbating factor in terms of determining exactly how many people will be still occupying those. But there'll be significant numbers of people in those areas.
Where has there been extra protection work, and what do you think the impact of that will be? The emergency protection work will certainly aid and assist some parts of town. Which areas do you think?
So largely that will be down the Roebuck Street, area of Domain, the Domain part of town.
Was anything done around the Orowaiti or Karatiri Place or Cats Creek or any of those areas?
Yes, there was floodgate mitigation and some sandbagging or reinforcements done around the Orowaiti Road area, I understand.
Is the army here?
Yes.
Do we know how many and what they've got?
I think it's 4 trucks and 4 Unimogs and crews to staff those.
They'll be helping with the evacuation.
I understand they will be dealing with any emergency type evacuation. The initial, the regular evacuation will be done by FENS, Landsar, and assisted by police.
Has there been any indications from the experts and what have you that the town may be cut off at both ends?
That can't be ruled out. So certainly roads north. Snodgrass towards Waimangara, Karamea. That's likely to that'll be the first to be cut off. But at this stage, the predictions don't appear to have great concerns for access out over the Buller Bridge. So that's part of the rationale behind sticking with the Wholesome site as the preferred evacuation centre. So we won't be moving people more than once.
The fact that there's been damage to roads out that way and seems to have been extremely heavy rainfall there, does that indicate that perhaps this event is further north and Westport is slightly not going to get quite as badly hit as we thought? Yeah,
that's certainly a bit of the feeling, yep, and I think that's sort of what's guided the decision around a partial evacuation. But yeah, certainly Buller and North is still of concern, and they're in there's good contact going on between the community coordinators out there in those communities to make sure that they're prepared for a significant event in rivers Mokanui and Karamea. And obviously we are still anticipating the arrival of a Air Force helicopter and other civilian helicopters, I believe, are en route or available to assist wherever it's needed, but likely in the northern Buller area, I would think, given the road is closed at the moment.
Are you asking for any government support at the moment?
We have all the support that we are asking for, including from NEMA and Defence at this stage. So Defence are also en route with a field kitchen facility which will assist at the Wholesome site, I understand.
How many people can be accommodated at the Wholesome site?
I think it's, at a push, 1,000 odd. But I don't think we're looking at those kind of numbers, and the intention is that by being targeted, we will reduce the number of people that have to be there. And again, we want to point out that is a very basic facility, but it will be safe. Obviously, if people have the opportunity to self-evacuate to their own arrangements, that would be the preferable option.
Or if they have caravans or buses, can they get over there?
Yes, caravans, buses will be. The site is large, so they'll be able to be accommodated out there.
Can you rule out a complete town evacuation of Westport, or is that still potentially coming later?
I can't rule that out. No, that decision will be made later in the day.
Yeah. And is that after that, I guess, that 3 p.m. meeting? So when would people expect to know about further evacuation details?
My understanding, 3 p.m. is the next check-in with the technical team, and that's when they're anticipating the next update on the, the forecast modelling and things like that.
Yeah, so maybe around 4 p.m, 5 p.m, is that when people might get another update?
Yeah, after 3.
After 3.
So how practical though is a full town evacuation if you can only take 1,000 people out there, there's 4,000 people in Westport, and maybe 3,000 can take away the people who have gone somewhere else? How practical is evacuating the whole town?
The evacuation plan has been established on evacuating the whole town, so I will leave that up to the officials as to how that's managed. There's no doubt that would be I would say a national scale. There's the emergency text alert coming out now, so that's good to see. So I imagine that there's no doubt that would be a significant logistical exercise to evacuate the entire town, but and hence the idea of voluntary evacuations and the warning that some people might be spending some time in their cars.
We heard that it would take 5 hours to get everyone across the Buller Bridge. Is that true?
I haven't got detail on how long an evacuation would take, but I think they were reasonably confident that it is very well resourced, and the resourcing was in town to deal with a full town evacuation, so I think we'll have reasonable numbers to deal with what we're talking about immediately.
If people getting evacuated now can't get to friends or family, will they be taken to the Wholesome site? Is that the idea?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Cheers.
What time do we sort of aim for to be back sort of after 3 updates?
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock?